everyone, it's Sarah from the Support Worker Store. Today I've got Gianni. I can't wait to talk to you about all things about building. So let's get straight into it. Can you tell us about the name of your business and why you called the business what you called it?
Well, thank you. Thanks for the chat tonight. So my name's Gianni. I'm from Restore Home Modification, and we really just specialize in, essentially, as the name kind of says it, just home modifications within the NDIS and aged care space.
So where did you get the idea to enter into the space of home modifications? Like, where did it come from?
Well, for me, it's something that's kind of organically something I've been thinking about over the last couple of years, and I just had the opportunity to join David, who is now my business partner. And David kind of commenced the company about 5 years ago. And he kind of just spent a lot of time observing the way occupational therapists kind of work in his previous role as a physio. And he saw that there was just kind of a way that we could make an instant impact to the lives of like other participants.
So what made you want to work with people that have disabilities, aged care? Was there any type of calling or something that's happened that made you go, geez, I really want to work with you guys?
For me, over the last 15 years, I'm a registered builder and have been building kind of custom boutique homes for the last 10 years for clients. And I just kind of found it just became, just like cookie cutter, one after the other. And we just kind of finish a home, we hand it over, we move on to the next one. So I was kind of really taking the industry for granted a little bit because we were just building homes and I was just worrying about the next home that we were building. But the opportunity came up within the space and it kind of just, I don't know, it just kind of resonated with me a little bit in the sense that we're able to actually make an instant impact and something that, people don't take for granted and something that they're able to use and appreciate straight away.
Yeah, it must make you feel really good.
It does. It took me like the first couple of months was like really, and still is, but the first couple of months was really emotionally and mentally rewarding and something that I wasn't really used to. But yeah, it's something that we love doing. I'm still kind of building some homes in the background, just finishing off projects that were kind of in the middle of construction. And yeah, it's all guns blazing at Restore, which is great.
Do you get to have that warm fuzzy moment where somebody gets to see a modification to a house, and do you get to see their reaction when you've built something and created something for them?
100%, yeah, we do. So, often we're there and we're having a pre-construction meeting with the client and the OT, and we're talking about what we're going to do and what's it going to look like. And, we magically click our fingers and in 4 weeks' time, they've got a brand new bathroom and I'm actually physically there to kind of hand it over and show them how to use the bits and pieces in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And it honestly is like a new lease on life on them. Like they're just glowing. They're always happy. And, it's a sense of just appreciating the simple things, which, I just find really rewarding.
Because you would enter a lot of people's homes where their life has changed dramatically and they do need modifications quite quickly to be entering back to the family home. Does it make you value things a little bit differently?
Oh, 100%. Like in the first couple of months, like I said, it was kind of, I was coming home and I was kind of, telling my wife that like it's just made me view life completely differently. We've had participants that have kind of been given, pretty drastic news over the last kind of 12 months. And then all of a sudden, their life gets turned upside down and they've got builders in their home, making their home like compliant for wheelchair access so it kind of just really hit home that we do often take the simple things for granted. So it's just kind of what I could, do to kind of give back a little bit as well.
Yeah. What does a normal day look like for you and your business partner?
So Dave does a lot of the background, all the admin, the back and forth with the OTs, and kind of working out, our run sheets and what's involved in each job. My job day to day is often like site visits, keeping tabs on the guys that are already on site and the work that's doing, pre-ordering material and bits and pieces that we need to kind of complete the job. Also meetings with OTs, like pre-construction meetings and stuff before we start. And then just generally just kind of supervising and chatting to the clients and the participants, just making sure that they're happy. And then every now and then I've got a carpentry background. So every now and then I put the nail bag on and give them a hand as well.
Do you like that, to do that?
It winds the clock back a little bit. And I probably use like muscles that I haven't used in a little while, but no, it's good. It's good fun.
What's something that people don't know about you and the business that you run that we probably wouldn't know unless I asked?
I don't know, pretty simple guy. Well, like I mentioned, so for the last 10 years, carpentry by trade. Got my builder's license about 10 years ago. And for the last 10 years, I've literally been building custom boutique homes, build costs of around like that $800 to $1.2 million mark. So that's kind of kept me really busy. And, I've got 2 young kids and, just normal dad life. But I think with that building background, building like custom residential stuff, it's kind of given us it's given me really in terms of like attention to detail and quality of finishes and stuff. We've had numerous OTs kind of come back to us with feedback, just that, our quality is fantastic. We don't leave any stone unturned. The whole process from completion to commencement and vice versa is really seamless for everyone involved. And I think that just comes back to kind of the experiences that I've got of building bigger projects.
So it's not just about building bathrooms. What other modifications do you do? Because I know you can do bathrooms. What other modifications in a house could you do for a person or support them with?
We do a range of stuff. So obviously bathrooms, kitchen modifications. So, if people can't reach their overhead cupboards, we're able to kind of put like automatic shelves and drawers. They're able to drop down at waist level to help them kind of access equipment in the kitchen. We build ramps, whether that be out of timber, rubber, concrete, general like smaller things within the home, like just handrails and grab rails. We've also done like stair lifts, up and down staircases. So just really anything that will kind of improve accessibility and make kind of life easier for our participants within the home.
Now that you've got me on this topic, because I love a bit of tech, right? Is there anything that's coming into home modifications that in the future that we'll see more in the houses of some of the people that we serve that we're not seeing now? Like, is there any cool things coming?
Yes, actually, there's a new, well, it's not new, but we've kind of just recently introduced it. So we've got like fully automated front doors, but like it's an actual smart lock where people are kind of able to unlock and lock the door from their mobiles. So as they're approaching the home, they're actually able to open up the app, hit the button, the door automatically unlocks and opens for them, shuts behind them. And then with that technology, we're able to kind of turn on lights and turn on heating and cooling systems and stuff as well, which is pretty cool. So it's just really kind of using a bit of that, wireless technology, just incorporating it into making life a bit simpler and a bit easier.
So how do you source this? Is it something that you Google online? Do you have to go to expos? Like, how do you know what's coming up?
We just keep tabs with our automation team, and they're obviously always evolving and showing us kind of new equipment and new gear that they're able to use. And then really, essentially, it's up to us to introduce it to the client and then hope that the client is on board and happy to give it a go. And everyone that we've spoken to has been pretty on board. So it gives participants, like, they're able to give individual security codes to support workers and carers and stuff. So people only have one code to get in. Those codes can reset weekly or fortnightly. So there's a bit of extra security there as well.
Yeah.
Because
That's
gone are the
great.
days of just leaving lock boxes at the front.
That sounds amazing because I always worry about lock boxes in front of homes, especially if you've had such a huge amount of support workers coming in and out of your house. And it's not just support workers, it could be anybody really. It's a bit too accessible. The idea that you can change the codes, that's pretty awesome. But also attracts people coming in and out of your house, I dare say.
Correct. Yeah, it's actually great.
So what is some of the most common changes that you do? So is it just is it mostly anything in particular?
Look, pretty much the simplest ones are obviously accessibility wise. So just grab rails, handrails, like I said, up and down staircases, bathrooms and wet areas.
So,
just honestly, just bathrooms, getting rid of the old shower bases and the old shower screens and just kind of making it all level entry and nothing to step over.
So now when you're out and about, whether it be shopping centres, whether it be stadiums, do you now look at these things and go whether they're
Yeah,
to
100%.
measure?
Yeah, 100%. Or I kind of think, could someone with a wheelchair get through here? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Should get out the
it's
tape
a
measure.
it's a different type of thinking, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So do you ever work with any support workers, or is it just mostly NDIS participants or aged care participants?
Primarily, we work with occupational therapists,
Yep.
and then we obviously work together with them to functionally work out what's appropriate and what kind of modifications are going to suit the particular participant. And at times, between us or the OT, we will take on board input from the support worker and other family members that obviously might, have different ideas based on personal requirements or personal needs. So, I mean, for us, it's really just a team effort. We've often got 3 or 4 parties involved, and every participant is different. They've got their own story. They've got their own, background, or what they do and don't want. So we're just here to provide a service and just make their life easy.
So when you do your first lot of involvement, is there a lot of meetings that go into it? Like, is it like just a meeting between you, the participant, and the OT, or is it like a big group meeting, or how many meetings do you have before you get to the point where you can start building?
Sometimes 3 or 4 meetings just for like
Yeah.
a simple bathroom, not to mention all the background work that the OTs do before we even kind of get a hammer on site. Some OTs will kind of come to us with a scope of works and a plan already drawn up, ready to go,
Yep.
which makes it easy for us to kind of quote, and then we do a site visit. We just make sure that everything's lining up, that what's on paper as opposed to what's on site. But some OTs leave the drawings and everything completely up to us. They just tell us what the participants' requirements are, and we're able to kind of sketch
Yep.
up a floor plan and sketch up some elevations, send it away, get approval from all parties, and off we go.
So as you're building and making modifications, is there anything wild that you have done that you thought, well, this is a bit left of field?
Not really, to be honest.
Yep. Because
It's pretty.
I can't imagine OTs or any NDIS participants going outrageous. Like, do they get to pick the color of tiles? Like, can they create their own colors within their homes for it to be their
Yeah,
home? Like,
definitely. Look, and we're mindful too, and again, coming from my residential background, like we don't want these bathrooms to look just sterile.
yeah,
At the end of the day, they're still in people's homes. But in the same breath, we're also mindful of what the NDIS will and won't approve.
yeah,
So we generally make an allowance, using tiles as an example, we'll make an allowance of X amount of dollars per square meter for a tile. And then we literally leave it up to the client. So I've kind of brought a little bit of that, that boutique home kind of background, and we leave it up to the client, and they know that they've got X amount of dollars of square meters to spend, and they'll pick grey tiles, white tiles, pink tiles, whatever
yep.
whatever they choose. We're able to do it for
So, no, have you done pink tiles? Like, have you done anything outrageous, or has it been
them.
quite?
Not yet.
No, you're still
No,
waiting.
not yet. But I'll let you know.
What do you think is one thing that the NDIS gets right when it comes to home modifications?
Look, I mean, I think primarily the NDIS do a lot right? And I mean, at the end of the day, one of their main outcomes is just purely to support people, and their needs, to help, support workers and carers kind of navigate around homes and shower people safely, and
Yep.
where no one can kind of slip over or get hurt. Also, it takes pressure off, hospitals and aged care facilities.
Yeah.
So they do a lot right. So it really is win-win, but also we're also mindful that it does cost the taxpayer. So we really, I think it does provide a service for people, which is great. I honestly think it's win-win.
Yep. There's nowhere else in the world that has the NDIS. So I'm with you there. So is there anything that you wish that the NDIS did cover when it came to home modifications that it doesn't at the moment cover?
Look, I mean, one of the bugbears for me is, so the NDIS only cover tiles within a shower recess
Yep.
and then a skirting tile. And again, we'll use bathrooms as an example.
Yep.
Tiles within a shower recess up to 2.1 meters high, and a
Yep.
skirting tile all the way around. And we do find, and again, residential background, I would like us to be able to tile walls all the way to the ceiling.
Yes.
But we're mindful that the NDIS won't cover that. So often clients are kind of being forced to kind of pay out of pocket to bridge that gap.
Yeah, it's just more easier to clean, isn't it? Anyone that owns a bathroom could tell you that it is a hell of a lot easier to clean tiles.
Yeah,
And it
I think
looks
it's
sharper
obviously
and neat.
looks sharper, looks neater. Again, it kind of doesn't look as sterile, and it kind
Yep.
of, we're able to make the bathroom look like it was always there. And yes, there's a few bits and pieces to help for accessibility, but we really don't want to make it look like a space that has to be there purely because it has to meet a requirement for a disability. Like, we just want it to be able to serve its purpose, but kind of blend in within the home as well.
So you mentioned before that your partner in crime was actually a physio.
He was.
So do you feel like you've got the upper hand here, having a physio as a partner in this business to be able to be in the NDIS, because there's things that he's going to be able to pick up on as a physiotherapist that a builder might not see?
100%, and vice versa. Like, there's things that he won't pick up on a set of plans that actually, I've picked up. Or so we have found that, we've really hit it off as a partnership, and we're working really well together. And it's kind of given me a great insight into kind of the physio side of it. So able to chat to him about his past experiences and kind of, how all that looked and worked, and what made him kind of change over to the home modification space as well. So yeah, it's actually working really well. Our clients are happy, our OTs are thrilled, and yeah, so onwards and upwards.
So now that you're in this space of the NDIS space, aged care, if you were to ever to go back to be building houses again, not within that space, would it change the way that you build houses?
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would be mindful of, I've built homes for the majority of my clients are not real. The majority of my residential clients were never really first home buyers or first home builders. They were kind of retirees or people looking to build their final home.
Yep.
So knowing what I know now, stepping back into the residential side, it would be kind of reminding them to be mindful of, maybe let's keep our door openings a little bit wider.
Yeah.
Let's maybe make sure we've got level entry showers, make sure that we've got, sufficient noggins and studs in the wall to allow for future handrails and grab rails. Like, you never know. Just things like that, eliminating the amount of steps in a home. I've built a home for a client before, and he was in his early 60s, and there was like 18 steps to get to his front door. So I'd be mindful of that.
They probably don't live there anymore.
Last time I checked in, and I do check in regularly with past clients, and he's definitely still there. But
Wow.
God willing, I'm sure he's a fit, healthy bloke. But
Yeah.
I mean, eventually it's going to get tough for him, right? So
Yeah.
just little things like that, I would just probably make clients aware of.
Now, you touched on this before about safety in the house and all the mods and things you put in and stuff. I know for support workers, there's a bit of underlying unsureness when it comes to cameras being put into houses and stuff like that. I know that with some of the modifications that you're creating and the technology that it's going and places that you're going, are you seeing more cameras in houses?
Look, we personally haven't come across cameras, nor have we asked to kind of install any. Smart door locks. There is another particular range that does have a camera and also act as a doorbell.
Yep.
Cameras within the home, I don't know if I feel comfortable with that personally. But obviously, if it gets asked from a support worker or an OT or even a client, there's obviously a reason for it. So providing the client would be happy, and support workers and carers would obviously have to be notified that there actually are cameras.
I do
We'd
like that
install
door
them.
one. Like, to be honest with you, I do like the idea of the door camera, because there's been times like, disability or no disability, I like to know who's at my front door, and whether I really want to
100%.
answer it, sounds really horrible, but I don't always want to answer the door knocker. And I dare say that the same saying, no different. So I do love the idea of that privacy and, that opportunity to see who turns up for you prior to opening a door.
Yeah, so it's a lock, a doorbell, a camera, kind of all in one. You get notified when someone buzzes. your phone goes off, you're able to see who it is.
Yep.
You can push a button, let them in, or just don't answer, whatever you like.
Now, I'm so sorry if I'm doubling back on this one, but I was a little bit curious, and it just like the thought came. Do you know when you do like your modifications and you have your reveals? Do they hold a party, or like do people get really into it? Like, do you have a ribbon? Like, is somebody cutting a ribbon to anything? Are we going
No,
all out?
not as formal as that. I do often then get a message that night saying, we've used the shower for the first time. Thank you very
Yep.
much. Or we've used the bidet and it works
Yep.
amazing. So we get a bit of that. But no, the block handovers, no.
A girl can dream.
Yeah.
So we touched a little bit, but can you give me any more juicy stories of how this has improved anyone's life and their livelihood of having these modifications? Like, any stories like that?
I mean, often, obviously, any modification is helping someone's life. And that's the
Yeah.
reason why we're doing it.
Yeah.
Um, so we've had cases of just building earlier this year. We built a simple ramp for a gentleman who had just been kind of put in a wheelchair only recently.
Yeah.
And so we built him an access ramp to get into his backyard, and just something as simple as that. Like, he rang me that afternoon, really happy with the boys' jobs on site, and just pretty much
Yeah.
in tears because he just hadn't been into his backyard for like 6 months. So
It's
that
those
was,
small little ones, isn't it? It's these small little things that we take for granted.
yeah,
And I remember once I was supporting a guy that he had a completely different building, but he had a new wheelchair. And with his new wheelchair, he had the capacity to be able to stand up now. And he said to me, I can now see on the top shelf. I was like, what?
yeah,
It's like I've been living with my family for the last 20 years and I've never been able to see the top shelf of this bookcase. And now I can stand up and see. I'm like, so like what can you see? It's like there's really nothing there. But I've always wondered what was on the top shelf. Funny, the little stories like that. But it's
yeah.
these little things.
It's as simple as that, but so rewarding at the same time.
100%. And it's something that I never thought was going to be something that he really was intrigued by, like the top shelf of a bookshelf. Like I never in a
Yeah,
million years thought he would ever be intrigued by that. But because of how far technology has come and where it's got to, it's amazing. Like where it goes and what it can create. And I think especially in your space too, I think I'd be always amazed and I think I would really enjoy all the modifications to come, even with the kitchen's tops and being able to move up and down. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I think I saw like a stovetop that can move down too to get to the point for somebody in a wheelchair or rise up. That type of stuff that takes a lot of planning to do. Like that's not easy. Like I could only imagine.
now there's a lot of moving parts. There's cabinet makers, there's plumbers, there's electricians, there's so it just doesn't appear. There's a lot of guys in the background that are doing some really good work and really just helping make our life, my job, easier, because we've got good guys behind us kind of doing the grunt of the work. But you're right, like the simple things just is just so rewarding for people. And just something as simple as making a door opening wider, so
Yeah.
he's allowing someone to potentially get into a part of the home that they haven't been in for a long time because now they're in a wheelchair. So it's those simple things that are really, really rewarding for me at the moment.
But it's also the opportunity to be as independent as possible. By doing all these things here, we are creating ways for people to be more independent to access their home outside or even the community from having a ramp. So it all builds up to a bigger story to support somebody.
Agreed. Yeah. And fundamentally, that's exactly what it is. So, it's just what we're doing is we're just providing a service just to support and to give
Yep.
people a new lease on life.
So with the job that you do, what is the hardest thing that you have to do for your job? Like, is it something that's really quite difficult? Is it the drawing of the plans? Is it going back to the support coordinators, the LACs to figure out whether there is funding there to create these type of modifications?
A bit of that. I mean, obviously, that all contributes and can be frustrating. I suppose the hardest thing at the moment is just kind of, we quote a job, we go to a house, we measure up, we've got the participant there and the OT, and they're like, so when can you start? And we're like, well, look, we've got to wait for approval. We might not be here for another 6 to 8 months. And they're just seeing their kind of face kind of that bit of disappointment is tough.
Oh, they would 100% drop, because then it's that, do I have to wait? Like, I don't really want to wait that long. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But there is a building shortage for you guys at the moment as well. Like, it's not easy to get trades, I dare say.
Yeah, look, it's tough to get trades. I mean, it's tough to get good trades as well. So that's something that we're battling with on a daily basis. But yeah, I think just the industry as a whole, I think a lot of industries at the moment are kind of struggling. You see a lot of restaurants that haven't got enough waitresses or waiters or chefs and, baristas. So there are shortages everywhere.
So how do you pick the right trades to go into houses? Like, is it from your years of experience working in this sector that you're able to pick the right tradies that are going to be quite mindful and respectful to the people that we serve? Or is it just hit and miss?
No, that's a good question, because like for so many years building new homes, our tradies are kind of coming to a site that's an empty home and under construction. So there's a little bit more of relaxation or kind of, we're not stepping into someone's home, right?
Yep.
But now, we're literally renovating homes while we've got participants and families and pets and dogs and kids kind of, all in the same space. So we're just mindful of just picking, and all of our tradies are great, but really just picking tradies that have got great communication skills, people that are kind of friendly. Not saying that there are tradies that are not friendly, but people that we feel will kind of work well in that environment.
Yeah, and respectful to a person's house. I get it.
Yeah.
So is it?
It's funny,
it's not
you
easy,
get talking to. No, it's not easy, and you get it's even allowed us to get to know our tradies on a different level as well, because we've explained to them, okay, so this is an NDIS bathroom, and the lady or the participant's got a disability, and then all of a sudden they start their stories, and my mum had the same problem, or my mum was diagnosed with so and so this many years ago, and so we've actually opened up conversations with tradies that we normally wouldn't have on a new home job site, and that's actually been quite rewarding as well.
Yeah, because by that sense that you're growing your own community with awareness of how to work with people with disabilities. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and even like tradies that have never worked in that space before that I've introduced to this part of the industry, like they've just called me and really grateful and thank you. They were lovely, and it was great to see. They kind of felt like they were doing something important as opposed to just tiling a bathroom.
Meaningful. They felt it was meaningful, and they can see it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
Do you have any like if there are tradies out there looking for work, are you somebody that they could contact to look for?
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're always looking for new tradies, and our workload is kind of, constantly increasing. So we're always on the lookout for new tradies. Our work is kind of spread all over Melbourne, Metro Melbourne. So at the moment, we've kind of got tradies traveling from the north and the west, heading south, heading east. So we're always looking just to expand, our reach. And essentially, the more tradies we've got and working that are based in different areas of Melbourne just allows us to access more areas as well.
Yeah.
We've been asked to quote work in Shepparton, so even like regional Victoria. Yeah, we're always on the lookout for good tradesmen.
So when it comes to tradies, is it plumbers? Is it plasterers? Is it tilers? Is it carpentry? Is it electrician? Is it any what other trades?
Literally a bit of everything.
A bit of everything.
Painting, caulkers.
Yep.
What else have we got? So we knocked off plumbing, electrical, carpentry, floor layers.
Yep.
So really, anybody. A lot of the trades is pretty much the same trades we use building a whole home, but we're only kind of just focusing on one particular part of the existing house.
So do they have to go through an interview process with you, the tradies, to join your crew or to be on your books?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a bit of a screening process that we've kind of developed in-house. Obviously, we still have to meet like NDIS, certain requirements within the NDIS, so insurances and public liability and all that kind of stuff. So But I think for us, it's just kind of, we just have a bit of a chat, kind of like an old-fashioned job interview. And between Dave and I, we've obviously, you get a good idea just based on a couple of conversations with people on if they're going to be the right fit or not.
Yep. You've been doing
But
this
we'll
for 10
often,
years, so I dare say it all goes with that gut feeling whether somebody's going to be
yeah.
the right fit for you.
And often, I'll look to meet them on site, or I might look to kind of have a look at some of their existing work.
Yep.
And again, mindful of just a bit of that residential sector coming back into home mods. Like, we really keep our levels and our quality of finishes super high. We're not just rushing things and doing things just for the sake of doing it. A full bathroom, we're probably turning around a bathroom in about 4 weeks, which is pretty good. And, all the feedback that we're getting from OTs and clients, the quality's great. And that essentially boils down to the choice of good tradesmen.
Yeah. So when it comes to an NDIS participants, are they seeking you out, or is it mostly the OT seeking you out?
So a little bit of both. Majority of it is the OT, whether they're OTs that we already know and they're returning OTs looking for more quotes, or they're new OTs that they've found us online and they've made an inquiry on our website and requested a quote. And then obviously that starts the conversation and the communication. Or again, just kind of like private clients or self-funded clients have again typed in home modifications Melbourne, and our websites come up. They've inquired within our website, and then we just take them through the process.
Yeah. So there's multiple ways to get to you. The best way to contact your company, is it by email? Is it just DMing you on Instagram? Is it LinkedIn? What is the best way to get to you guys?
Primarily our website. We've got a couple of links to our website that allows the participant, the OT, whoever, just to kind of download the information and let us know what they require. We're both on LinkedIn, David and I, Instagram, website, email, whatever.
You are contactable.
Yeah.
So with all what's going on, it seems like you've got quite a bit of reach in Melbourne. Have you got any big dreams or any big plans happening with the company that you're allowed to share?
Not really. We just want to continue to kind of grow and get better, and
It's just business as usual.
have a bigger reach. We have been asked to quote a couple of jobs interstate as well, which would be cool if we can land those. We just want to kind of just keep it simple and just keep doing what we're doing right, and just expand purely in terms of volume, and that just means that we're able to kind of help more people out, make life easier for OTs. If that means we're expanding our crew, and instead of doing 5 or 6 jobs at any one time, we're kind of doing 12, 13, 14, great. It means that there's more people kind of getting the help that they need, and we're just we're employing more people, which is kind of helping people kind of earn a living as well.
Yeah. It's quite big, but it would be really cool. I think the coolest part is to see how a area of a house looked at the beginning to where is it now, and then to reflect on a year or so's time to see how that area has been well lived in. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's often at the end of the job we take photos, and I often flick back and see what the house looked like prior and know what it looks like now. And so those simple transformations, as much as they're simple in the sense that we take the simplicity of building it for granted, but it really is life changing. So that's what we're super excited about.
Yeah, it would be. Now, I didn't talk about this before, but we probably did. We actually, I remember when to do the podcast, anyone that's watching right now, to do the podcast, I actually filter a lot of people, and we found out that you and I used to live in the same suburb. Isn't it funny how much of a small world the NDIS is? And
crazy.
You never see a lot of it coming. Like for me, like it's funny the little ways that it all interconnects itself.
It is. Actually, we were doing a job a couple of weeks ago in Chelsea, and which is like, so I'm based in Sunbury, and I was out in Chelsea, which is like a good hour and a half away from me. And we were nearing the end of the job, and I was just chatting with the participants' parents, and one thing led to another, and they actually 25 years ago lived in the same street as my in-laws and actually attended the local primary school, and they just had happened to move to Chelsea just for a bit of a sea change about 20 years ago. But they were like literally, and these parents, their grandchild now goes to the same high school as what my son goes to. So it was just they're actually in the same class together. So it was just a small world.
Wow. It is, isn't it? Because it's always at 6 degrees of separation. So I found
100%.
I found it really quite funny. So yes, this is a shout out to Sunbury people.
Represent.
I'll see you at the Royal.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Is there anything that I've missed about your business that we haven't talked about and we need to, because I want to give the audience absolutely everything about you?
I think we've covered a lot. I mean, obviously, if anyone, any OTs or support workers, need to reach out, they can hit us up on our website.
Yep.
www.restorehm.com.au. But yeah, we just want to keep doing the simple things right, and just keep
and to high
keep
quality,
helping,
because that's what they expect. Everyone deserves to live in a quality home.
Exactly. Yep, 100%.
Thank you so much. I can't wait to see what more you're going to bring to the table, the modifications that are coming, technology, how it's catching up with us in this modern world. I can't wait. I think it's such an interesting area to explore as time progresses.
Should be good. Just keep up to date on our Instagram, and we'll keep in touch. Look forward to sharing it with you.
All right, too easy. Thank you so much for joining me.
All good. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Bye.